Hello there, my name is Christian. Now I'll be showing you my Marvel Blu-ray collection. I just showed my DC Blu-ray collection, but now I will be showing this as well. First, we're going to start off with Iron Man with Robert Downey Jr. that started off the MCU. It is a good movie, but I'm not a huge Iron Man fan. I was never really been. I mean, his movies are okay. They're not the best in the MCU, but he was the one that started it all off. Then we got Iron Man 2. I know I just said I do not like Iron Man movies, but this is actually one of my favorites just because of Mickey Rourke. I love him as Whiplash. I think he does a great job, even though probably a lot of people didn't think he did that great. Then we got Iron Man 3. It is a good movie, like all the Iron Man movies, but I just never really got into Iron Man. He was never one of my favorites. Then we got Spider-Man 3, which is the worst in Tobey Maguire's trilogy. He could have done better. The directing was all over the place. Writing, the whole movie was all over the place. And it should have been better to finish off the trilogy for Tobey Maguire, because he is the best Spider-Man and will always be the best Spider-Man. Then we got the Amazing Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield, and I'm glad they brought him into the new Spider-Man movie, Far From Home. No, not Far From Home. No Way Home. But he is the weakest Spider-Man to me. He's not as good as Tom Holland or Tobey Maguire, but he is good to an extent. Then we got Spider-Man Homecoming. It started off the entire trilogy, or the trilogy for Tom Holland. He did a great job. He is a great Spider-Man, and he will always be the second behind Tobey Maguire, because Tobey Maguire is the best, of course. Then we got Spider-Man Far From Home, another great movie with Tom Holland and Spider-Man. It was great with Jake Gyllenhaal as the villain. I thought he did a great job as the villain, as Mysterio. It was a great movie. And then we got No Way Home with Tom Holland and Doctor Strange, and it is one of the saddest MCU movies that I've seen. It's just sad. I mean, if you haven't seen it yet, you need to watch it. It is great story, great acting, great CGI, just great everything. Then we got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Another great movie in the MCU. Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, all amazing. You got Bradley Cooper as Rocket Raccoon. You got Vin Diesel as Groot, with all the words that he says. This is just a great movie. Then we got Ant-Man and the Wasp. This one put me to sleep in the theaters, and this one's not much better. I'm just not really a huge Ant-Man fan, like a lot of people. Paul Rudd does an amazing job, but Ant-Man has never been one of my favorite characters. Then we got Thor. It's an okay Marvel movie. And we got Thor: The Dark World. No, just terrible. Just terrible. Then Marvel's Avengers, great movie to start off the Avenger. Was it quadrilogy or whatever now? It is the, I want to say second best Avengers behind Endgame. Because Age of Ultron is okay, and so is Infinity War. I mean, of course Thanos is in there, but the Avengers is what brought everybody together. Avengers Age of Ultron, I mean, it's okay. Avengers Infinity War, good, but not as good as Endgame. It brought Thanos to life, one of the better villains in the MCU. Then The Amazing Spider-Man 2, the worst movie ever by Marvel. This is just terrible. Andrew Garfield tries his best, but this movie is just awful. And we got Black Panther with Chadwick Boseman. I wish he was still alive to do the new Black Panther, but this is one of the better MCU movies, and I'm sad that he's not going to be in the new one, but I hope they do the best that they can with the new one coming out. And we got Captain America, the First Avenger, and this is the one that started it all off for Captain America. I'm a huge Captain America fan. I think that Captain America is the best of the Avengers, character-wise, and Chris Evans does an exceptional job in all three of the Captain America movies. The Winter Soldier is in the top 5 of the MCU for me. Chris Evans does an amazing job. Sebastian Stan, I mean, this is just an amazing movie. And we got Captain America Civil War. I didn't like this one as much as the first two. I'm not really a huge Iron Man fan, and I hated that Captain America had to fight Iron Man. Then we got Daredevil and Elektra Director's Cut. Daredevil and Elektra are not great movies at all, but the Director's Cut does help a little bit. It fleshes out the characters and it makes them a lot better than what they were. Then we got X-Men 2, the best X-Men movie ever, and it probably will be to the end of time, because nothing's going to beat X2. The best X-Men movie by far. Then Avengers Endgame. This movie, so long, and I've only seen it once. I'm not that great with long movies, but this movie is good, and they really brought everybody together at the end and showed what Marvel could do, be the best that they can be. And we got Thor Ragnarok. Amazing movie, great comedy, the best of the Thor movies for sure. Thor 1 and 2, and then the new one that came out are nowhere near Thor Ragnarok. And we got X-Men Origins Wolverine. Just no words for this movie. Then X-Men First Class. I really enjoyed this one. This is what started off all the newer X-Men movies, and it really did X-Men justice and brought it back. Then The Wolverine, great movie. I honestly think it's better than Logan, unpopular opinion, but it is an exceptional movie. And we got X-Men Days of Future Past, the Rogue cut, which only shows Rogue one minute more than what she was in the original. It's not even worth getting unless you just want to see Rogue. And we got X-Men Apocalypse, another one of the terrible X-Men movies. And we got Logan, one of the better X-Men movies. It's still not as good as the Wolverine to me. I really enjoy the Wolverine. I think Logan is a lot of people's favorites, but it just wasn't mine. Then we got Venom. It's a movie I really enjoy. Tom Hardy does a great job in this movie, and I'm glad that he's coming into the MCU, or whatever Disney and Sony want to do. Then we got Hulk with Eric Bana. Terrible. Deadpool. Amazing. It is by far one of the best Marvel movies, just like Deadpool 2. Ryan Reynolds does an amazing job. I'm a huge Ryan Reynolds fan, and Deadpool 2 honestly was even better than Deadpool 1, bringing Josh Brolin in as Cable. Was a really, really fantastic movie. And we got Doctor Strange, the first one. The second one I do not have. This one is one of the better MCU movies. Benedict Cumberbatch does an amazing job. And I really wish that the new one, they let Sam Raimi do his thing, but they didn't. And it was just subpar, and it could have been better. Not as great as Doctor Strange. And then that's that Fantastic Four and Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer. They are okay. They're not as bad as in the 2015 Fantastic Four. By far, these movies were way better than the 2015 Fantastic Four. I mean, Chris Evans is Johnny Storm. Jessica Alba is Invisible Girl. Just fantastic. Then we got Fantastic Four 2015. Just terrible. Even with a great cast, just awful. Then we got Ghost Rider, Spirit of the Vengeance. I've never seen it. I don't know if I want to see it. I've heard it is awful. Then we got Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, which is another amazing movie in the MCU. And it is probably one of my favorite in the MCU as well. And we got The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton. I think Edward Norton does or did a better job than Mark Ruffalo, but we're never going to get Edward Norton back as the Incredible Hulk, so we're stuck with Mark Ruffalo. I think Mark does a good job, but he just wasn't as good as Edward Norton. Then we got Eternals, which it just feels like Justice League, and it just isn't that great. I mean, there's not much to say about Eternals. It just wasn't good. And we got Spider-Man 2, best movie in Marvel. Hands down, will always be the best movie in Marvel. I don't care about Endgame, Infinity War, none of those movies. This movie, the best. And we got Black Widow. It was okay. I like Florence Pugh as Scarlett Johansson's sister, but this movie just didn't have it Taskmaster was just awful. They could have done a lot of things better in this movie. Then we got Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings, which is one of the better movies to come out besides No Way Home. The others have just been subpar, and I don't know what Marvel's doing with these new movies. Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Very underrated to me. I mean, a lot of people don't like this movie, but I think Woody Harrelson as Carnage does amazing. And we got the only animated Marvel movie I have, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Not really a huge animated Marvel fan. They're not as good as DC, but Spider-Verse was pretty good. And then we got Captain Marvel. Never been a big fan of Captain Marvel. Then we got X-Men Dark Phoenix. Just a cash grab, to be honest. This movie was awful. Then last but not least, well, I should just say least, X-Men The Last Stand. Just awful. Just like X-Men Origins. Just, I wish they never made this movie. And that concludes all the Marvel Blu-ray movies I have. I also have some Funko Pops behind me, like I did in my other video with the DC. Got Spider-Man Miles Morales, Thanos, Carl Mordo, Elektra, Ronin, and Black Panther for Chadwick. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll probably be doing more like it in the future. I am still thinking of ideas at the moment, but this is what I'm doing for now. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching if you did, and have a great day.